Gracie and I are at the coal mines today, and we're paying a visit to the cottage known as the Overseer's Quarters. Gracie's laying at the doorway just there. Now the building's 8.6 by 4.6, which is the same size as the watch box which we saw in a previous video. And I suspect it was built around the same era as that. There's a plan for 1843 which shows this building as being proposed, so I suspect it was built late 1843, 1844. Now around 1844 we had 8 overseers down here, and we know where 2 of them lived, Hurst and Miller. They lived on those small cottages on the other side of the penitentiary, and some of the others may have still been residing in the older buildings that were located where that grassy area is left of the screen down there. So they had to build more cottages down here to soak up that amount of overseers, and this cottage here would have been used towards that goal. Overseers were the first rung on the ladder of supervision here for the convicts. You had your overseers, and then above then you had assistant superintendents, and then on the top of the pyramid you had the superintendent himself. Now that's separate to the military that did the guarding, but the overseers, superintendents, assistant superintendents were all civilians. Now, originally the overseers here were more often than not ex-convicts, convicts that had either got their ticket of leave or pardon, but later on the regulations changed and they had to be free men that took up the role. Even though they were ex-convicts in early on, they still could be quite brutal to their former colleagues, and just because they were an ex-convict doesn't mean that the convicts working under them would have got an easy ride. And more often than not, they could be more brutal than others who were never convicts. I have a nice photo of this structure to show you later, but we'll just do a quick tour first. Where Gracie's still patiently laying is the front door, and to the right there is a window. So going in through the doorway, standing in the middle of the room, and on the wall there we have a fireplace. I expect it was probably 1.5 metres across, standard size down here. On the left here is a window, and I'm presuming, I can't see, but I'm presuming there would have been a window on this side here as well. So heading back out the doorway, thank you Gracie, on this corner here right beside the door there's a sandstone block. I'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to the photo. So let's follow the structure along here, and here we'd have a window, and I expect the dividing wall was here, and you can see a large sandstone block just below it, and at this point obviously where the fireplaces are you can see the chimney quite clearly on the photo. So travelling along this back room there would have been a window here, and you can see these sandstone blocks here. These were used to build up this end of the building, and on top of that there was dressed sandstone and then brick. When you see the photo it'll make more sense. So I travelled down to this corner here, and then I've got a sandstone block there which I believe is part of the structure. And on this side here I have a window, and close to this sandstone block would have been a doorway. So if we go into the oceanside eastern end of the building, same as the other room, there would have been a fireplace located there, backing onto the fireplace in the other room and sharing the same chimney, and a window on that side, and the window on that side that we can see on the photo. So let's head back out the doorway, past this sandstone block. Now we come to the back corner there. The sandstone block is sticking up a bit. It seems to be exactly where it should be, but maybe they had to reinforce this a bit more here, or this has been turned over, I'm not sure. So Now we'll travel up the back. There's another sandstone block there, right in the right spot. We're up to the window. Now at the back of this cottage, there's a sandstone block, and I'd say this is a lintel of the window that was here. You can see here it comes round here, and I give this a bit of a poke before, and the sandstone goes around that direction as well. So that may have been above the window on this side. So back to our wall, and here we have a long piece of sandstone that goes under where the dividing wall would have been. Travelling along, not much in this corner here, a little bit of sandstone there that might have been pushed out. And we come back here to where the window is, and to where Grace is still patiently laying in the doorway there. I'm about to show you a photo of the cottage, but I thought I'd just show you first where it was taken from. And I'm behind the superintendent's cottage, just up on the hill slightly, and I'm now looking directly down to where the cottage is. There's trees, vegetation everywhere here now, but when the convicts were here, they stripped all the trees for about 5 kilometres in every direction from the coal mines. The vegetation was cleared off as well, the lower shrubs, so you would have had a clear line of sight between here and where the cottage is. And a photo would have been taken around 1900 by John Beattie, who was a famous Tasmanian photographer and historian. So let's have a look at the photo. As I was saying before, if you have a look at the photo and you have a look at the door side of it, the corner of the building on the left hand side of the door, you can see some light coloured foundation sandstone. I believe that is this section here. If you look at the photo on the left side of the building, the window that's on the left side, below it you can see where the area has been built up with pieces of sandstone and rock below the dressed sandstone. This here is that section you can see under the window of the photo. So there you have it, the overseer's quarters number 3 at the coal mines.